Hello and welcome to the Dallas Soccer Show. I'm Dustin Nation, and this is a special episode. This is the, pilot, if you will, for a new show we're thinking about starting up where we do a lineup prediction. We'll call it maybe the lineup prediction show, maybe match build-up, something. We'll come up with a snazzy name for it. But this week, we're going to be talking to Jonathan Roz. How's it going, Jonathan?
It's going good, Dustin.
We are going to build a lineup on the show of what we think the lineup will be. We'll have our prediction when we are done. So we're going to start off with...
This can be guaranteed. It's 100% accurate. We've never been wrong on the show.
Never, ever. Well, we haven't been wrong because we haven't done it yet.
Exactly.
Anyways, yeah.
We got to keep the streak alive. Yep.
That's right. We're streaking right now. Well, maybe not. All right, so let's start with some player news. The injury report is out, and John Nelson is finally showing up on the injury report. There'd been kind of some thoughts prior to this that he was in fact injured because we hadn't seen him in a while, and lo and behold, he is now on the injury report with an abdominal strain. And Ja'Cory Hayes has picked up a knock in training. It says the injury report says it's his quad, so we'll see whether or not he's able to actually make a run out or not. He's questionable. Also, out on international duty, we have Brian Acosta, we've got Reggie Cannon, and Carlos Gruezo. So some of our I guess, big guns, if you will, pardon the gun pun with Cannon, are off and away, and some of our piece players are kind of got a little bit of injury bug going on. So, Jonathan, with the game that we just had on Wednesday, and we've got another game on Wednesday, what are you thinking that we're going to be rolling out as far as a formation against Toronto? And then once we're done there, we'll start kind of filling in the pieces.
Yeah, so I think that we're still going to stay with the traditional 4-3-3. So kind of Luchi's default position, possession oriented against Toronto. I don't think we're going to see anything a big change like what we saw like at Atlanta, where with 5 in the back or 5-3 right in the back. I expect it's going to be a pretty traditional lineup, especially looking at the players that we have available. I think that like you mentioned with Nelson being out, I think it limits some of our flexibility where we're going to put individual players. So to me, I kind of expect that 4-3-3, and then also looking at Toronto, right? They've got a little bit of changes, with Bradley not playing in the center, where you might actually see we're going to have a better ability to build out of the midfield, and so playing that 4-3-3 really kind of helps kind of go towards that game plan. So I know what you're.
No, I think that I'm aligned with that. I think that we might see, if we were going to see something else, we would see that 4-2-3-1. But I think, especially with who's the new guy for Toronto? I can't remember his name. Being a threat, we might want to do the double defensive mids.
Right. Yep.
To kind of give the defense more cover, but I think that we'll slip in and out of that. I think it'll be kind of a fluid thing, and we'll start at the 4-3-3 is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would agree. And sometimes, honestly, with Luchi, a lot of times it's hard to actually tell. There's not early on, right, when he was doing the triple pivot or whatever, right, when we had, I think, the midfield that he preferred starting. I think it was a little bit more defined. It seems like it's a little bit looser between the 4-3-3 and whether it's a 4-2-3-1, right? How they actually play as the game progresses. I think sometimes it does get very fluid.
For sure. So, Luchi Gonzalez has been out for a while with an ankle injury. He's not listed on the injury report. So, do you think that he gets the start over Jimmy?
I think the start. We saw he was on the bench for the Open Cup game, and I think he's back between the pipes as we move back into MLS play. I haven't heard anything. I think he picked up the knock and actually played for a few games after that original injury in MLS, right? So I don't think that Luchi's going to change that. I think now they're back to MLS play. We're going to see Jesse as the starter at goalkeeper again. I don't think that's anything that we saw with Jimmy either, right? I think Jimmy did okay, right? in the Open Cup games, but I expect we're just going to go back to Jesse.
I would assume so as well. He is the starter. Jimmy's not gonna. I think it was Buzz Carrick said the other day on our show that like Jimmy won't win you or lose you a game, but he's gonna be steady. Whereas Jesse has lots of potential upside, lots of potential downside. So, but he is our starter. So I am going to agree with you on that. Then how about the back line? Let's move up the field.
So I think this is where things start to get difficult. So first of all, the one part that's not difficult is Hedges. Hedges, probably man of the match on Wednesday. One of the few players who maybe other than Barrios, who looked like he was really intent on winning that game. That he's a lock for sure. For the other center back, a lot of it depends on what we think we're going to do at left back. So I feel like we're going to have Ziegler as the other center back and have Brisson get the day off or this game up, potentially come off the bench, and have in the left back have Ryan, and for right back, we got we're doing play the kids, right? So Reynolds, maybe he had a couple mistakes, on some of the games, but man, overall, I've loved to see the way he's played. I think until Cannon's back, I think right back's going to be Reynolds, right? So a lot of it depends, and I'm kind of curious on your thoughts. A lot of it depends on where you think Hollingshead's going to be, or whether or not you shift Ziegler into that left back, which we've seen Luchi do a couple of times. I don't know, Dustin, kind of what your thoughts are.
Yeah, my only concern is that Ziegler hasn't had much playing time since he's come back from, I think it's a groin pull. So for him to just hop in and get 90 at center back, or at left back,
right.
I'm not completely sold that that's going to be happening. I think that if he does come in, it would be at left back, and I would say he'd be left back subbing on or only making it an hour and then letting this be an intro back in, but we'll see. And if they do that, so I'm going to go with Ziegler starting at left back, Brisson at center back, Hedges at center back, and then Reynolds as well on the right. No. Hollingshead. Ooh.
Yeah, that's the trick.
This is where.
Yeah.
I think it's Hollingshead on the right.
All right.
I think that against Toronto that we're going to want that experienced back line. So that'd be my call. And we'll flash the graphics up here and show mine versus yours at the end of the day. So
that sounds good. And and what you're going with, I could definitely see that. I think that was honestly the back line's probably one of the toughest areas to understand because there are so many different options. So I could see that as well. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with my back four.
Okay. Moving up the field towards the midfield, we've got some players back from international duty. We've got Pamikal and Aranguiz and Sadio all back and ready for action. So Cervania, Yep. Lest I forget Cervania. Who of those guys do you envision being in that midfield three that you're calling for?
So of those ones, I think the key question I kind of get is really whether or not Jacori is ready. Because I think if Jacori's ready, he's locked, right? When with Grazo and Acosta out, especially with Grazo out, right? Who unfortunately we might have to get used to him being out if the rumors are true, With Grazo being out, we really need somebody like Jacori, I think, to stabilize things in the back end with some of that leadership and experience. I always try to go with what's officially on the injury report, and then the fact that we haven't really seen anything from Jacori. I'm thinking Jacori doesn't start, which makes me feel like it's Paxton is a lock. So Paxton's going to come in and play the most offensive midfielder, whether that's a 10 or whatever it is, right? And then I think for the other two, it's going to be Cirillo and Cervania.
Going with the youth there.
I'm going with the youth now. I'm a little bit worried about that lineup, honestly. But we don't have, as deep as this team is, looks, when we have all of our players in the midfield, we're pretty light right now, right? And so, we don't have a lot of options. I didn't like the look of having Hollingshead shift up. We tried that one time, try to fill one of those spots. So I think Edwin's going to be kind of our holding midfielder, with Cervania, playing more of that 8.
Yeah, I can see that. And I don't really think that I have a better option that I can think of. When Hollingshead is one of those players that, he's a double-edged sword. He's either going to be man of the match, or
Yep.
he's going to be a turnover machine.
Yep.
We saw that against I forget the last whichever game that he played up the most recently, where he would just get the ball, he'd make a semi-decent move and then just lose the ball.
Yep.
And that was very frustrating. I think that with the team having trouble pushing up the field and making that connection between the defense and the attack, I'm thinking that might be a mortal sin for him in Luchi's eyes, and so I don't see him making that push into the midfield. And I already got him at right back, so I think that
exactly.
So I think that I would agree with you, Paxton, Sarillo, and Savania in the middle.
All right, so it's the U20, what we all wish to see in the U.S. Under-20 World Cup, but never got a chance to. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and that, like you said, all contingent upon Jacori not being fit.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, if Jacori plays, which one of those 3 is on the bench?
Cervania.
Yeah. Okay.
I think.
Yep. Because I think they're it's nothing against Cervania. I think that he's the more similar player to Jacori. So
agreed. Yep.
All right.
For sure. All right, and then the place where we are not lacking in players, but maybe lacking in talent, that would be the front 3.
Yeah.
So we saw the Baji, Ferreira, and Barrios connection on Wednesday. Do you think they're going to repeat that?
You know what? I thought that was going to end up being our preferred lineup, because when Baji came back from injury, there was a couple of games where he looked really good. And in fact, even in when he shifted up as a striker at the end of who was that against? It's just like the last 10 minutes of I can't remember.
It's early in the morning. I can't remember any of the previous games.
It was one of our most recent MLS matches where he shifted up top at the very end, and man, he was stretching defenses. He was creating chances. I mean, he looked really good. What Baji this is. So I really thought that was the lineup we would see, would be Baji, Mikey, and Jesus. Mikey's a lock, right? We already know, right? I mean, he's going to play unless
team sheet.
Unless he's got yellow card accumulation, he's going to play. I think Jesus still that striker role is his to lose, and then to me it's whether or not it's Baji, and I think so. If I'm Luchi, I'm actually going to pull Pablo into that left wing spot this time, even though Santi's officially back off the injury list. I don't think he's going to start, but I want to try to see if I can get Pablo went away. I mean, everybody know, at least people who follow FC Dallas closely, that Pablo hasn't gotten on the score sheet yet. But as he went away with Chile for the U23, he got a goal and an assist. And I think he was primarily playing on the wing, right? Do you try to see if you can get that to carry on, give him a chance to start? That's what I would do. Let's see if Pablo can bring a little of that U23 Chile magic to FC Dallas.
Yeah, that's probably a good shout. My only worry with that is the size thing, right? So with Paxton and Pablito on the team on the field at the same time. Those aren't very big guys, and I'm wondering if that might play a factor in that decision.
Right, and exactly. Neither are Jesus and Mikey, right? That's a really small front 4. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it just depends on how Luchi wants to attack at them. I mean, obviously, with that size, with that lineup, it wouldn't be slinging crosses into the box and trying for a header.
Right.
So.
Yep.
I think I'm of two minds whenever I'm thinking about these front three. What I would like to see, or what I think I'd like to see, is I'd like to see. I think Pablo Aranguiz is not gonna make the three. What I'd like to see is Baji and Freya switch. I'm still like, I know people are sour on Baji and they're ready to toss him to the curb. I still think there's something there that we can, and some talent and some goals that we can get off of him. I'm still not completely ready to just throw him out with the bathwater, or whatever the saying.
Right.
Insert colloquialism there. So I would, if it were me, I'd say Baji center, Freya on the left, and Barrios on the right. But what I think will actually happen is I think we'll get those same front three out there again.
Yeah, and that does feel probably like the more likely. But you know what? I'm still going to go with Pablo on the left, just because, honestly, because I'd love to see it, man. I would really love to see Pablo get on the score sheet, because I do think he's got skill. I think he could be a good value to this team. It's just whether or not, if he's the right person to fill that left back, or if it's going to be Baji. Sorry, left winger. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, we shall see tonight at Toyota Stadium at 7 p.m. FC Dallas takes on Toronto FC. And we will, if you like this and it's something that you enjoy, shoot us a comment, a tweet at Dallas Soccer Show. It's either here or here on your screen. You can see our addresses where you can get a hold of us, or make a comment here in the comment section below. Everybody, thank you to Jonathan Roz, and we will see you later.
All right.